A while ago, an individual asked about posture. And when you're young, you're born in the fetal position, obviously, curled up in the downward, flex spine, knees to chest, in a ball. And as we age, if we do not strengthen, that's the first thing you see go is people start slouching their shoulders drop, the neck drops forward, they kind of look like they're, and it's like in the teens these days because they're on their phones, so they're just doing this and looking down. And in our generation, obviously kids didn't have that. They were out doing stuff, and so they're starting this terrible posture at such a young age. I don't even want to know what they're going to look like when they get to 50, 60 years old, 70, 80. They're going to have some serious, we talk about medical expenses now. There's going to be some serious high medical costs for spinal disorders and vision disorders because the blue light. So I recommend, we're going to talk about ergonomics. I'm just going to go over a few things that's really important. Block the blue light. And so you get a screen filter. I have a pair of glasses I just got that blocks blue light. Blue light actually doesn't just affect your eyes, it affects the collagen in your skin. It breaks down the collagen and makes you age much faster. And so obviously, I don't know how many people want to age faster or look older than they actually are. But so you want to actually, having the glasses is great. Okay, well, that's protecting my eyes. Better to cover your screen. There's settings on your computer that makes it yellow, orange. They're called nighttime setting, and so it's not so strenuous on the eyes. But at the same time, put a filter on your computer, your phone, everything, because it's not just affecting your eyes; it's affecting the skin on your face, your arms, your hands. You fall asleep in front of the couch at night or in your bedroom, and whatever's hanging out is getting blue light. So look into that. Next thing I would say is monitors. You want to have them in this range right here where you actually have a nice, correct posture. I was reading in this article talking about posture, and they're saying, well, you don't need to have that military stiff spine, erect spine, so you're stiff looking while you're typing. That's not feasible. Yeah, it is. And you better practice it, because over the last couple of years as I've been sick, I've been sitting a lot. I've been at my desk or on the couch, and my posture, and I quit working out as much, so I'm not training my back, because your back is what holds you erect. Shoulders back, so rear deltoid and your back. So pulling, anything that's pulling down, straight it forward, from low, down here, high, shrugs, anything that's building the back of you and your rear delt. So anytime thing where I'm doing stiff arm, where I'm resistance going this direction, so like if you're using the AC kit that attaches to flex stand, pushing outward like that, so you're actually hitting the rear delt. If you bend your elbow and do that, you're actually hitting your rhomboids, the middle of your spine, but you need to do that too. So building the rear delt and your back muscles is going to keep you erect, because I'll tell you what, I try and constantly am making myself aware of it, but it's so ingrained that those muscles are now gone that I automatically do this. And it's amazing how many people go, oh, my shoulders are so tight, they're just hunched up and they really hurt. No, that's not the actual case. We actually allow our shoulder girdle to drop and hang. So the traps feel really, 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 really tight, and like they're elevated, but they're not elevated. That's the elevation of the AC joint. So what you're actually feeling, because when I am normal and I have good musculature above and below my scapula, I should be able to depress my shoulders, and I should be able to shrug my shoulders. So I should be able to go down, and it should pop back up in the middle and go up. Now, I take people in the clinic and I'm like, oh, my shoulders are so elevated and I'm just shrugging all day long and just so tense. That's your shoulder girdle, which is holding your extremities, your arms, the scapula, your pecs. I mean, is hanging off that. So that's probably 40% of your body weight is hanging off your neck. And then so you get like where people have a forward head and they start developing that hump on, it's almost like they look like hunchback. And that's because as the weight hangs, it forces the neck forward into that position, and you start developing a lump of fatty tissue on the spine, and really it's muscle needs to like replace that and pull it back up, your neck back, because your head tilts, but it also goes forward and back. So you need to have this position. So let's say if I'm looking straight ahead of my computer, I need to have a nice inline position. Now, if you're typing, so I'm gonna have to raise my chair here, but if I'm typing, well, I'm just gonna leave it low for a second. My keyboard, if I put it right here, see how my arms, my wrists are above my elbow. And so a lot of people are sitting like this, and so their arms get really tired. I'm gonna have to drop it down a little bit more, but they're actually typing like this, so they're going into extension, and people used to say, 90 degree, that's perfect. No, it's not, because you're actually having to stretch your flexors. Your extensors are having to hold them virtually isotonic, but semi-isometric contraction, and then your wrists are in extension, fingers, and then you get tired, so then you rest your wrist on the desk surface, or even if you have a soft wrist pad, it's still putting compression on the pisiform bone, which is going to lead to Guillain syndrome. And then you're like so fatigued, so you're actually resting that there. Then you're typing. So where's the only movement at? Right here at my fingers. And because it's only at my fingers, I'm going to develop carpal tunnel because of the friction as the flexor tendons operate back and forth. Especially if you have even more like I see people where their hands are virtually, their elbows are down here and their hands are resting up here, and then like typing, and that's crazy. So it's all the stress is transferred to the wrist and fingers. Now, as I elevate my chair, excuse me, okay, here. So now look, your hands, your elbow, your shoulders should be back, arm, upper arm, forearm, 45-degree angle, let's say, but it needs to be in line with your fingertips, because as I type, I should be able to, looking straight ahead, right in this range. If you've got a paper that you're copying and you're typing, put it within that range, not off to the side ever, and not above or below it, but try to like get it placed in the same underneath position as your monitor, so you can actually, you're looking at both. So you're not doing this and then down, up. Of course, if you're a really good typist, you don't have to do that. You can just look at the paper. Then I'll just put it up even higher so that it's again in line. You're not looking down, you're not looking up. That causes serious eye strain and neck strain. And so being shoulder width, which is why you have split keyboards that actually separate, makes a big difference. I'm wide, so I would prefer a keyboard out here where I can type, but see how it goes down the elbow, wrist, in line with the fingertips. And so I have full motion here. This will keep you from, this will actually keep your posture correct and help reduce repetitive strain injury dramatically, because you're using multi-joints in order to perform an action. So you're not singling out a specific joint. And so you're actually got full motion here. And then I'm going down to my fingertips. Everything should roll down, straight down, wrists in line with the forearm, with the elbow, up, shoulders back, and I'm typing. So, and again, split. What's even nicer is they have the split boards that actually rotate slightly to, 45, maybe even you have 90 now, I'm not sure. So you can actually type in a more of a neutral position, because when you're fully pronated, this is the anatomical position, because the radius and the ulna are side by side. They run parallel. When the hand goes into pronation, they cross. So you have an X. It's like wringing a washcloth. So when you do that, that even causes more friction because it's tightening the flexor group down, and then you're going to have more friction. So if you can actually have your hands rotated to a 45-degree angle, whatever's comfortable for you, you're actually reducing the tension on those muscles. The next thing is to make sure your feet are flat on the floor, and your thighs. I got a little chalkboard here. I'm not an artist by any means. I'm a stick artist. So here is the person. There's their head, and here is their chair right here. Good lumbar support in here, and you got their armchair and their keyboard and their monitor, and their feet need to be flat on the floor. Now you don't want your chair, angling upward. That puts pressure on the back behind the knee and the hamstring, which will cause blood clot, deep venous thrombosis, and so you don't want that. If you can have your chair at 90 or even slightly slanted downward so it doesn't dig into the back of the leg, perfect. I'm only 5'7", so I actually have to be in line at my desk. I actually have to put a stool under my feet because I actually have to elevate the chair so high so that I'm actually, in line when I'm typing. I mean, desks are, you need to have everything that can be interchangeable, especially if someone's sharing a workstation with you, like you work day shift, they work night shift, and you need to be able to actually have everything custom for you, your width, your height, everything. So I put my feet on this little block down here, and so my feet are actually taking weight, which takes it off behind my knee. And again, don't slouch forward. Look how happy this guy is here. Let's give him some here. Okay. And I guess the keyboard. And again, make sure your paper document is like in here. And so glare. Don't sit too close to the computer screen. If you have a touch screen, obviously you need to be closer. But again, using the shield. So we've got your desk settings, you've got your keyboard, your mouse. Your mouse needs to be right here. I mean, and the closer the keyboard is to where you can functionally do this, okay? People rest their wrist again when they're mousing, a mouse pad. No, I got big old callus right here because I rest my wrist on it. And even though it's not supposed to be a pad, it is still rough. And again, it's pressure on the piezoform, which is going to lead to guions, cubital, a multitude of imbalances. So it's best to honestly use like speech recognition software, so you just talk and it types for you. But if you have to use a mouse, make sure it's right here in line, for you. And again, touch screen, nothing. You never ever lean forward and reach for anything. Everything has to be, I gotta shorten this now. This is like killing me. See, I'm already getting like a blood clot. Okay, so you want everything arm's reach. I find myself just doing this sometimes, and I'm leaning forward at my laptop, and of course laptops make a big difference because why? They're narrower. So now you have a minimized keyboard. What am I doing? Bringing my chest and shoulders in. I'm having to narrow myself in order to type. A phone, now I'm doing this. The more you close this off, the worse your posture gets, your muscle breaks down, and you're going to have serious neck, back disorders. I mean, much quicker. So again, remember the wider keyboard, laptop, get a keyboard, and you can use wireless, whatever, and make sure that the monitor, so that you can see the screen, but tilt it forward, back, whatever you need to do, reduce glare, but so that you can still see it and it's in your line of sight. We don't do that. We drop it on the table, or the coffee table, or our lap. Yeah, right, it's on my lap, and I'm going to have to be down here doing stuff, which makes you lean forward, which now puts massive strain on your low back. So for every inch your neck goes forward, I believe it increases like 10 pounds weight of your head that it displaces. So correct inline posture. I'll go over like using a plumb line and assessing your posture and stuff in the next one. But you've got to stay away from these small devices because you're this. And I'll give them exercises and stuff like that and stretches to correct it. But just don't do it in the first place or minimize it. People have just got to like understand that if they want a longer, healthier life, then they're going to need to make changes in their current lifestyle. I mean, they say now sitting at a desk is the new smoking. You don't move. You don't, I mean, you've got to get up and move, walk around. If you can like walk and talk around, pace in your office and be on the phone on a headset, so you're not doing this, great. Anything to where you're moving, increasing circulation, using the stand-up desks. So you have the, raises up room, and then you work standing up for a while, and then you're back down sitting. But you have to constantly be rotating and changing position. Otherwise, you're just going to mold yourself into a serious, never-ending series of chronic disorders. So that's it, I believe. So if you have other questions, I'm sure I probably didn't cover something. I didn't make any notes on it, but I'm just glad to be back, and I want to help all of you live a healthier, better lifestyle and be injury-free. So thanks again. God bless and good luck.